Okay, friends, hello. Let us give it a few more minutes and wait for our friends and colleges. And while people are joining, let's see what's our geography. Please write in the comments where are you listening from. We are from Russia. Hello. So I will wait for some answers. Our webinar is online and people are from all over the world, so it is the morning for some and evening for the others, but in any case I'm glad you are watching us. I see from all over the world: St. Petersburg, London, Brazil. Fantastic. So, and let's check if everything works. Please send a plus in the comments if imagine and sound are fine, and minutes if not, and we will begin. Just check. Yes, all over the world. Fantastic. I am very glad to see you. Oh, it's C pluses. Okay, I think it's super. Let's start. Today I will be hosting the webinar. My name is Aleksandr. I am the CEO of TypeType. A couple words about TypeType. We are a team of more than 20 people. We have created over 50 font families. But most important, that over 35,000 designers all over the world use our fonts. Also, we have 30 plus large customization projects. This webinar will include a lecture on what customization is, and then we will show different examples of how and where customization can help. But this is not a theoretical meeting, so I will try to be a bit more specific on how much font customization might take resources and how much time it needs. After that, we will have time for an open discussion. We will be glad if you submit your questions in the comments, and at the end of the webinar, I will try to answer some of them. I'm now done with the introduction, and we'll try to tell you about font customization. What kind of customization exists and why it is an instrument that can solve many problems. It often happens that a selected font does not correspond to the requirements of a specific project. But font is not a static instrument that only functions as it was created. So, to show how unique a company is, you can and need to customize the font to your needs, big or little, technical or design. So, what is customization? It is making changes to the font that can be both graphic and technical. But changes to the license can also be considered font customization. Also, during this meeting, I will try to boost several myths about font customization, such as that it is expensive, need much effort, and difficult. Everything in this world develops, and fonts are not exception. What was difficult and expensive 10 years ago becomes available today. So, let's start with graphic customizations and look at different examples. There are quite many of them, and not all of them have made it into this list here. I will not read this list. There are a lot of points. You can check them. So let's go further. If you want to make a font unique but don't have much time or resources for it, you can take an easy way out and work with only a couple of characters. For example, you could change 3-5 characters into 3 faces that you plan to use. Changing only several symbols already makes a great difference to what a font looks like. As a result, you get a technically perfect font which will be unique for your project and your client, and no one else in the world will have it. So in this example, you see we changed just several characters, and you see this is already different font. Let me make a specific example. It will be much more interesting. For the new corporate style of the one company, a client needed the TypeType font with the following changes. Slightly rotated letter E. You see, we did it. Default square full stops had to be replaced with round ones. We also did it. One story A had to be made default, and the 2-story had to be moved to a stylistic set. As a result, the client got a unique font, but much fewer time and money resources were needed than if the font were created from scratch to him. Changing the width of strokes in a font is another popular design request. If you have not found an ideal width for you in a family when regular seems too thin and medium looks too massive, an intermediate face can be created to fit your specific task. By the way, I have to know that I think this type of customization will gradually leave the market because variable fonts are perfectly capable of solving this task. And I want to tell you that we discussed this in our previous webinar, which you can watch on our YouTube channel, on this channel. This is rather large and complex customization, which will make quite a lot of time to do. I think for a font like TypeType, this task would take approximately 2 or 3 weeks and cost around $3,000 or $4,000. Adding a logo in the font. This is a very interesting customization that allows you to customize a font for a client's needs. As such, it is not difficult and only takes a few days. And if you buy a font with a big price license or an unlimited license, we do this for free, no problem. Let me show you a specific example. For our customer, we implemented 4 variants of the logo type into the font, in addition to carry out many more complex customizations. And we did it, and you see, it looks cool, I think. It is possible to make any changes to the shapes of characters, so that a font matches your identical better, and for it to be more unique and match the designer's view of the project. The main difference of this case from the other one is that almost all glyphs change, but the changes are purely decorative. Here is an example on the screen. Once we were approached by a client that wanted to use TypeType as a corporate font. They have especially liked the curve in the letter T, and they asked us to add similar curves in letters A and D. We analyzed their logo and their corporate style to suggest an original solution for other letters. As a result, we had a customized TypeType that solves the client's task. You see that we did it. This customization was rather pricey because it required something like 25 hours, which is of course a lot, but the client got a unique font that solves to the task. At this point, I suggest wrapping up the discussion of graphic customization, although there can be many examples. Before we move on the next block of technical customization, I would like to remind you, friends, to write your questions in the comments. It's important for me, and as promised, I will try to answer some of them. Okay, and next one. Now let us move on the next type of customization, the technical one. It may be difficult to notice, but can be great help. Very great help in work of a designer or a branding agency. Here is the list of all possible customizations, but not all possible, but most of them. And again, I will not read them. You can check them maybe later. Let's go. Embedding the name of the company or a brand into the name of the font. As surprising as this may be, this simple customization may increase the font's value for the client of a project. As example, we had a large-scale project with big company Telefonica, and one of the items on the list was to change the name of the font. And we did it. As you see, the name was TT Hoffs, and now it is Telefonica Sans, no problem. If you combine this customization with changing the design of several main glyphs, like in the first example, you can get a fantastic result. You will have at your disposal a font with a unique design and its own name, while the quality and functionality of the source font will be preserved. These changes will be done very quickly, much faster than creating a new font from the scratch. A rather frequent example of proportional change to the font size. For instance, on a client's website, you use a system font, but at some point you decided to change it and buy a font that matches the specifics of the font better. But there is a problem. You change the system font on your website to the new one, and the layout gets so distorted that it is easier to make a new layout. The reasons for this may be different, and one of them is that the physical sizes of these two fonts can be different. In such a case, it is possible to create a custom version in which we will match the size of the font or other metric to the reference font, so that the transition between is as smooth as possible. You see the example on the screen. Midline in interline spacing customization is a very interesting example that can greatly help a designer in their work. Graphic editors that designers use have different interfaces, both from the content point of view as well as in terms of in-block element specifics. Because of that, fonts may be displayed incorrectly, and a designer has to change the parameters manually, which takes a lot of time that could otherwise have been used for more important tasks. And this time costs some money. A great example of this can be the button abstract object, in which a UI designer places a text line. For it to be perfectly aligned to the center in different interfaces, it is necessary to individually set up the ascender and descender parameters in the font. We can set that up once and for all the font file, and you will not have to do this manually anymore. Okay, changing spacing in the font. Spacing is the distance between the letters. Depending on the task, we can make the set more condensed or more dispersed. We were surprised when we realized not all designers know about such customization and spend a lot of time trying to correct this manually. We would like to change this. Let's make an interesting example. For one of our IT clients, we did some research and developed a system of text set density change depending on the size of the font. Based on the results of this research, we created 8 fonts with different text expression, such that in a large body size the text would be more condensed, and in a small size it would be dispersed. This way, we made our clients' work easier. There is no more need to write down the dispersion parameters manually. Adding an alphabet or a language. This task may also emerge while choosing a font or when a font has already been used for a while. Practically, almost any language can be added to a font. It only depends on the professionalism of the font foundry. This is quite complex customization as it requires active interaction with the client. Example: some company choose our font city trailers, but ask to add Vietnamese and several stylistic sets. And after that, to hint the new characters. This was the result. You see it on your screen. And here you see several stylistic sets whose graphic alluded to pets. This was also done based on the client's sketch. I think it looks fantastic. There are many more possible customizations. We tried to cover them in our article that you can find on our website, but we won't discuss them here as we don't have enough time. So let's move on the next type of customization: license customization. License customization. In adding to technical and graphic customization, license customization solves the final issues in any project. It's worth nothing that this customization is usually only needed in very large projects where a client might have many legal requirements that they cannot forego. And here is a list. You see it on your screen. And let's begin. If a license is purchased for a holding that has several companies, we make the needed changes to the sold fonts license and list all the companies that are a part of that holding, so that there is no legal need to purchase a license for each legal entity. Example: for some big company, the task was that all its subsidiaries could use the font according both to the corporate style guidelines and the license. It is a company. If a company purchases a license but has no in-house designer, in the individual license we can specify that they can transfer the font file to the contractors for the period of project work. Everything is easy. We can put it this way. There are only a few articles in the license that we are not ready to change or amend, but they are quite reasonable. For example, we cannot transfer exclusive rights to our fonts. Do not grant the right to make changes to our fonts or to sell it to third person. All the rest can be changed. So, just interesting example. For a client, we carried a rather complex customization based on our TT host font. This client needed to make changes to the graphics of some characters and create a display version TT host medium based on the reference they set. And here we go. we did it. Embed two logotypes into the font. Set alternative characters shapes for these glyphs, and some of them you see on the example. 0, 1, L. Downsize the font character composition and rename the font. And the result is interesting. Okay. I would like to make a small conclusion here. As you see, customization is an instrument that is helpful both on the graphic and the technical stages of project implementation, and later on the legal stage. Just imagine you can take a high quality font, then, for example, change the glyph design, change the name of the font and the license, and then have a unique and valuable font for your client or for some project. But you won't lose the quality of the font at the same time. I believe customization is the future of the font world. I would like to know that TypeType has several advantages that are worthy of attention. First is the speed. Today, our team has more than 20 co-workers, and we can carry out many tasks in the matter of days, not months. Secondly, the price. We against charging for all, even small customizations, or charging too big sums of money for the work. What's more, if you pushes a large license, or especially an unlimited license, we carry out many customizations for free. Well, unfortunately I have covered not all what I would have loved to, but we will try to develop this topic further and share the information in different forms, such as articles and new webinars. I also understand that everyone has their own unique case and font requirements. My team and I are always ready to talk to agencies, designers, clients about specific cases. So I invite all interested to a one-on-one Zoom meeting and in person in the future, I hope. Let's get to know each other and talk. Just reach out to us through any channel you like. Really, I really like to have one-on-one Zoom meetings. It's very interesting, and we are glad to speak about fonts with all who use fonts. Okay, I'm ready to answer your questions. Sorry, I have to read before because I couldn't do this. About, for example, question about logo, I repeat that we can add logo in project without any problems. It will be just new glyph. I will try to find this slide. For example, here we add as example our logo. It is glyphs, and logo is like a one glyph, and here is an example for another company where we added several logos as a picture, as a glyph, sorry. I am glad that for license customization something new you found. But Gabriel, if you will have any other questions, we will be glad to speak with you one-on-one. Please can you tell us something about hinting? I love hinting. I want to tell you that we solve this problem with hinting for our company by ourselves. We have in our team specialists who can do this really good. All our fonts are hinted and perfectly. You can check that. More of this, we know how to hint variable fonts. I spoke about this last webinar, and also on our site you can find article about hinting. We wrote about hinting, not everything but a lot, and I want to tell that I really don't like that hinting costs a lot of money on the market. We do it, we don't like it. And about hinting, I think that all fonts have to be hinted. If you have some more concrete question, I will try to answer. About exclusive rights, when you make a customization to a typeface for a client, does that client have exclusive rights to the customized typeface? It depends. If customization fantastic big, when you change a lot of glyphs, when you change ligatures, when you change a lot of things, of course, and you spend a lot of money for this, of course, we are ready to give exclusive rights for this customization, because we understand that you paid for this, and okay, take them. But of course, when we will, when we do just several glyphs, or you take big license and we do it for free for you, and it doesn't change this font really strong, usually we do not give exclusive rights, because I think you just don't need this exclusive rights for this. Okay, hope that I answered. Excuse me for my English language, I maybe can't answer really good. On what glyph position in the glyph set? First of all, I want to tell that maybe we will not have time to respond to large and complex questions or technical. We will answer all of them in comments of this webinar recording during 1 week. Just wait for 1 week. If I don't answer for some of these questions, we will add document or like comments. We will write your question and then our answer. I will not answer for this question. We don't sell. Do you sell the application that customize the fonts, or am I correct in thinking we have to instruct TypeType to handle the customization? Second one, we can't sell the application. We do customization ourselves, and you just give us a task, and we have some communication, and we do this customization for you. If I understood your question right. Do you have cooperative program for designers who promote your fonts for their clients? Yes, we have. We have special agent contract. We pay 10-15%, it depends on the project, of the cost of the font which your customer, which your customer buy directly from us. We do it 100% legal. We just between our companies, we give this money back for you. I think it's correct. Kenneth, it's no problem. You can write to us directly, or we can have Zoom. Okay, how much percentage could we customize a font based on the original one? Where can we verify and license for legitimacy? Okay. First of all, we can change. First of all, we can custom our fonts. We speak about our fonts, and we can change everything. It doesn't matter. We can change 90%, 99 and percent, and no problems. Sometimes we can't do some changes because they're not logic, but it doesn't matter for us. You are a customer, and that is why if we do for our fonts, and only we can do custom for our fonts, we can change all parameters. You answer perfectly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your English is better than our Russian. Thank you very much. Which tools or software are best for font customization based on your experience? This sort in which this font was made, because it is easy to do with this font anything you want. I have created a vector font. Can you make it into a working font so it works the same as the font I based it on? If I understood correct, yes, we of course if you have a vector font, the same story. When we do our fonts, we also, in some cases, we do first vector font, then place it for Font Lab or somewhere else, and then we work with it. And yes, we can do it. It is what we name font from the scratch. It is possible, but to tell the truth, it can be a little bit expensive. But it can be no problem. You were talking about one-on-one meetings with other designers. I am a graphic design student in university, so I wonder if I could show my font to you and get feedback how to do better. So we have some collaborations with different universities. With several in America, which now try to have this some cooperation. In Russia we work with several, and we have several students this summer in our team who get something like practice. And I think yes, we can do it. Of course we can't spend too much time for this, but I think no problem. We can, first of all, we can speak about this, write us directly on the email, better on the email, and we will try to make this meeting. And also we have problems for students. I want to tell, first of all, I want to tell that we are able to give, we have trial fonts for for all our fonts. You can get them without any problems. You can use them in your design studio, or if you're a student, just for your projects for free. And they are full fonts. They are not we do not cut them. Just we think that it's better to give our product without any changes, and you can check them. We can give all our fonts, no problems. It's a special trial program. So Noro, write us. Let's try. Bjorn, two question. To those who are curious about the legality of customizing existing fonts, stay away from all commercial fonts. Open source fonts are normally open range, but refer to the lessons first. Yes, but I want to tell that most, no problems. We have a lot of cool free fonts, Google fonts, other fonts, fantastic fonts. No questions. You're right, you have to check license. Can you customize them or not? It's very important because usually it's free for use, but you can't change custom it. What are the selling points of font customization for a client? If I understand correctly, you mean how we understand how much it costs. Usually we use, first of all, we try to understand what we have to custom. Then we go to our font designers and ask them how many hours they will spend, and then we can understand the price which will cost this customization. But as I told, we understand then when you take big license or unlimited license, it costs a lot. And we understand that we are ready to make some customizations, sometimes large and big and expensive, for free, because we understand that maybe because of this you will take this font. And of course we are very glad when somebody takes our font to big projects, and it's cool, it's fantastic. That is why we are ready to do something if it will help you to choose our font. Can be possible customization in index scripts? It is possible to custom anything, but we can custom only our fonts. Of course, there are not a lot of projects when you already have font, you did it from the scratch, and in contract you have wrote something. Yes, we made this font for you, and you can do with this font anything you want. In this case, you can go to us and ask us, can you custom it or do something with it? And then we take something much more time to understand, can we or we can't, because we know how to work with our fonts, but fonts from another place we don't know. Hope that I answered you. Very, very interesting. I am very glad. How to persuade the client to customize an original font? If question is how to tell him that it is better to spend more money or something else to custom font, the most important thing that you will get unique font. Your customer will get unique font. Nobody else in all over this world will have the same font. If the question is administrative, how it can be from some documents, I think I can answer it in the letter. And one more time, if it's big project, we just do it like a part of this project without another money. Um, is it a valid of a font license to manipulate a font for a logo? For example, if the client wants the letter N to be flipped in the logo, but only in the logo, never in the actual font. Yes, we can work in both sides. If they have some unique design for this letter N, we can add it to the logo, and it will be just one glyph with logo with specific letter N, and in all font will be another letter N. Also, we can add this glyph N as an alternative set, and you can use usual letter N, and in some situations you just can change this N, and maybe in some situation you want to write the name of the company, and I don't know why you want to save this glyph. So yes, it's possible, if I understood correct your question, it's possible to add font without changing with unique glyph, without changing this glyph in other places in this font. What is your personal favorite font of all time? I will answer this question. We have our best font and my favorite, TT Norms Pro. And I want to tell you that just in 2 weeks, which is already more than 2 years in bestsellers in my fonts bestsellers, and more than 5,000 designers use it. And just in several weeks we will show TT Norms Pro 2nd edition. We spent 3,000 hours to make this second version of TT Norms Pro. It is fantastic font, I really love it. I think it's perfect font. How do you convince a client to spend money on font customization? To tell the truth, our clients is designers, design companies in most of situations, and usually designers tell end customer that they need something. They sell this for them. Most customers, they don't go to us, they go to design company or branding agency, and they ask, hey, we want to change site, or we want to change our brand design, and then you tell them, okay, you need this and this font, and maybe some customizations. Of course, we have another kind of customers, it is big companies that who goes to us only for one question. We want font from the scratch, or we want to get big font with unlimited license and to change this and this. To tell the truth, for me, it's better to sell our font with good license, because if somebody use our font in big project, a lot of people will see it and will come and take our fonts. That is why first of all, we don't put fantastic high price for customization. Third time I will repeat, we sometimes we don't take money for this work if the license is big, and that is why I can't answer to this question from your side, unfortunately. Sorry. You mentioned that it helps you convey a company's individual voice. I was wondering what else you recommend. yes, first of all, yes, it helps to get individual voice to the company. It's true. You see it in several examples that we change not a lot, but it looks different and unique. Sometimes in logo they have some strange design or something else, and we can add it to the font, and for example it will be alternative set, but it helps. What else I can recommend? A lot of. I think that, as I told, font is not a static thing, and a lot of things we can do by font. And now in this meeting we speak about customizations, but when we do font from the scratch, from the zero, we also can do a lot of interesting things which we can't do when we custom fonts. And I think that I will try to prepare some more good answer for this, because I will try to read a little bit more. How to evaluate a customized font that is in high quality or not. For example, there are plenty of fonts on Google Fonts that are good and bad. Unfortunately, on the market we have a lot of bad fonts. Interesting information. Just I think 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, every year we had something like, not we, all the font market had something like 500 new fonts. In 2019 it was like 1,700. In 2020 we had more than 2,000 fonts more, and unfortunately most of them they are not quietly good. Quality of the font, it is really hard to make font really good. As I told, for example, just for update our big font we spent 3,000 hours, something like 3,000. And for any new big font we spent thousands of hours. And there are a lot of good fonts. And you can write us and ask, this good or this bad. It's not very big problem for us to answer you. Maybe it will help you, maybe we will have some conversation and do something in future. When we customize fonts for a specific company, it is easy to make changes after we have got license and releases the font in the market. Maybe I understood you're not correct. If you mean for your project and you take our fonts, buy our fonts, of course better when you come to us directly and tell we want your font and we want some customization, because in this situation we can work with price. If you got font for a year and then come to us and ask some customization, it's another situation. If you speak about your own fonts, if you make fonts, then you place to the market, and then you do some customizations. It is a difficult question. I think it's a good idea because you add something good for your font, and why not? It is question about market. But if you want to custom our font with us for your client or your customer, better to do it directly from us, not from the shop. So I asked for a lot of questions. I'm Dominique, thank you for good words. Valeria, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. I really hope you have learned something new and interesting. We will be glad to have your comments and suggestions. Once again, write to us. We are very glad to have a conversation with you. It is very interesting and important for you. You also give us a lot of interesting information which help us. And that is why if you have any questions, write to us. We will have some Zoom meeting. We will help you with some information. You will help us with some information. We will find some points for cooperation. So thank you everyone. Bye everyone, and see you soon. We will have other webinars, roundtables. We will have a lot of interesting in the future. Thank you very much. Goodbye. 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 And goodbye.